Hey, girl.
Hey, how's it going, Erin?
Oh, you know.
I do know.
You do know. It's going pretty good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm hanging in there.
Oh, good.
Actually, that's a lie. You want to hear my goddamn?
Yes, I do.
Actually, that's also a lie. I think I'm going to change my goddamn.
Oh.
Okay, wait. I'll give you two.
Okay.
God damn!
My original goddamn was going to be that this morning I had a surfboard carry my fucking 5-year-old child into school. And I've progressively had to do this like every day for like a week. And he doesn't want to go to like any of his sports or anything. So somebody please fucking swift bullet to the forehead for me.
Have you considered like a wagon or cage kind of situation with
a
wheels?
leash?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Maybe
It
like
was
a
so
choke collar. I don't
embarrassing.
know. Something easier than surfboarding. It sounds so difficult.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing, for the record. I do not. I had to.
I mean, none of us do, to be fair.
Yeah. And this is like, again, like the bajillionth time I've had to do this. I thought this would be over by now. Like,
Yeah.
he knows. Don't do this because you still have to go to school.
You don't have a choice.
Yeah. Like, either way.
Mom's just mad now.
Yeah. And it's going to be embarrassing because I'm going to have to carry you in front of all your friends. Guys,
Yeah.
I had to walk him all the way into the classroom and sit him down in his chair, and he was still clinging to me. The teacher had to get up and come grab him. And I was like, should I just leave? And she was like, yeah, get out of here. You know, like, hurry.
She's like, run while you can.
I am on pins and needles thinking all day long that I'm going to get a call from his school at any moment. This is like torture to me.
Yeah, he's like holding you hostage, man.
He's holding me mentally hostage.
Yeah.
This kid. I don't know what to do. If anybody has any fucking hot tips, let me know. Because I have taken everything away from this kid.
a thunder vest
A thunder
that they give to like dogs that, you know,
Oh my
have
God.
has separation anxiety.
Yeah, my parents used to give me like a little tiny photo book. Maybe I could try that.
Maybe.
But he's not saying he misses me. He's
Yeah.
just like,
He's like, fuck this place.
I don't want to go
Take
to
me
school.
with you.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. So I just want to die on the inside. I feel like the worst parent ever. I don't know what to do to get this kid to fucking figure it out. Hopefully the universe will just fall in with me because I'm done.
Yeah.
Done. But
It will eventually. It has to. There's
has
not
to.
another choice, you know?
it's going to?
It's not the way our life is going to go.
No, man. I don't know.
Manifesting that shit. I'll put it on my vision board.
Fuck.
It'll
Yeah,
be him,
somebody
not surfboard.
Somebody put it all on your vision boards. I don't know what I'm doing out here, but somebody needs to tell me that they had it worse so that I don't feel so bad. Because tears for me all the time. I'm just like, I can't do it anymore. But then my bestie showed up and Erin made me this sick ass fucking sweater, a hoodie. She crocheted it. Do you see this shit? You can't if you're not on Patreon.
Yeah, you gotta
should
get on
be.
Patreon
Look
to
at
see
this. It's
that
got a
shit.
hood.
Oh,
Oh!
that was a really big hood.
I just have a really small head.
Yeah, you might.
I think I have a flat head.
it's
Like,
a real big
I
hood.
think my mom just didn't.
Oh, man. That's
You know
all that
what
neglect.
we should do? You know what we missed out on?
You
Couple
know,
of eye holes, huh?
you're not wrong.
I love this jacket
Oh, my God.
so much. It feels like the best hug ever from my bestie always.
It
even though you
is.
don't give hugs.
I infused it with hugs. I wore it before I gave it to you because I was like, number one, I'm so proud.
You guys, it's blue with pink pockets and pink arms. It's just the coolest. I'm wearing it everywhere.
It looks like those magic eyes.
It does!
You're
like when you
like-
see Bugs Bunny in it.
Yeah, yeah.
Or like
Yeah.
a running horse in the wind.
Yes. Yeah.
it does, huh? Look at that. What do you see?
What is that one? A butterfly? I don't
Fucking,
know.
this bitch has pockets.
It's got pockets and stuff.
and a
though.
hood. And I could pull strings on it. I'm not going to because I don't want to ruin it.
I mean, you can though.
I
They're
know.
functional.
Like, it works.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
yeah.
Nobody can touch it.
No. Oh my God.
This thing is going to start smelling. You know how like that,
Mhm.
that
You can
like,
wash
jean
it.
jacket vest with the studs from high school smell?
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. Yep.
I know, but I don't want to mess it up. It's so perfect. I know you can wash it. I
Yeah.
had blankets and stuff.
You have
before.
a nice washing machine. Just put that shit on like Delicate or
I
something.
will.
Boom.
will.
Done.
This is the best gift anybody has ever given me.
I made it with so much love
I can feel it,
for you.
and I'm going to wear it everywhere.
I love it.
I hope
think
so many people are like, where did you get that? And I'll be
I-
like, you can't.
You can't have one. They can buy one for $1,200. That's what I've decided.
Okay, I'll let them know. This is a $1,200 jacket.
You can pick your own colors and everything.
Wow, for $1,200?
Yep.
Shit, man. I feel like you should even up it
15.
if you get to pick your own.
Oh, okay.
Because then you're not getting to choose what kind of yarn and all that
That's
stuff.
true.
You're using, you know?
If I pick the colors, $1,200. If they pick the colors, $15.
And it's so, like, it's not like the stiff yarn where you're like,
Yeah.
trying to move your arms.
Yeah.
It's so soft. I love it.
I don't know how it came out like that because I did the hood. So I
It's
made
just
that.
all your hands.
I made that like 10 years ago. I made the sleeves and the front and back, the whole thing, and the pockets, everything except for the hood I made it like literally 10 years ago. And then I was going through my shit and I was like, I got to clear out my yarn stuff. And I found it and I was like, oh, I just never sewed it together.
That's all you had to do.
Which checks out with me 100%. That's
right.
all I
like
ever
make
do.
all the flat pieces.
Yeah. And so I was like, I guess I'll just sew it together. And then I did. And then I made the hood, but then the hood is so much stiffer than the rest of it. And I was like, I don't know, maybe I'm like stressed out now. My stitches are tighter.
Oh, maybe you just got like cleaner stitches on you.
I don't know.
I'm gonna break this shit in. It's gonna smell like me. It's
Good.
gonna be the softest from all my skin.
Yeah.
I'm never washing it.
Don't.
We have an agenda at this point.
It's gonna smell like a little onion.
So excited. It doesn't smell like a little onion. I'll spray it with perfume. So
There
it'll be
you
like
go.
a perfume dug.
I considered it because I was like, I wore it. So it's going to smell like me. But...
Doesn't smell like you. Well, if it does, I'm used to your smell.
Yeah, there it is.
I'm adding my smell to it.
Oh,
so
man.
thank you.
You know, that was actually going to be my goddamn too. That / I broke down and we bought a PS5 and Brandon and I are like fucking addicts in the house.
Addicted.
Now. Oh my God. We're like, we just both stop and like look around like, can the kids go to bed?
I know. Oh my God. It's the worst.
Like 5 more minutes for him and then we can play or...
And then they just want to watch you play too, but then they're just talking the whole time and you're like, hold on, bro. I'm trying to figure out what I need to do for my quest.
My kid was literally, he gave us a timer. He's like, I want to play before bed. And we were like, that sucks. I don't know. Get bigger. Fight us. I don't know. Figure it out.
Fight me for the controller.
Fight me for it. Yeah, that's how my brother used to do it. I don't know. And so then we're like, okay, negotiate. Like, we'll get off at 5:30. And he's like, 5:15. And he was giving us like, you got 10 minutes left.
I was like doing countdowns and shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
better
man.
get back to the house.
He knows how to read the clock, huh?
He does. And he
Fuck.
can set timers and stuff. He's like, guys, you got to get off. And I was like, well, we got to go put down all our stuff. And Brandon's like, no, turn it off. I was like, wow.
Dad.
Wow. How the turns have tabled or whatever.
For sure. Those turns table all the goddamn time.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
great, though. It's
shit.
so much fun. We set up the projector. We put sheets over our windows because we're
Yeah, you want to be able to see the projector.
children with money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Not a lot of money, though. Just
No.
dark sheets.
But enough to hang a sheet on a window.
Have a ladder.
There is nobody telling you can't. I saw a TikTok this morning and it was like this chick pouring herself a nice cup of tea, but in the tea was cranberry grape juice and then the creamer, it was Bacardi.
Oh.
And she was like, nobody's out here telling me I can't do this shit. Like, I have free will.
Mm-hmm.
I can use my tea set for this bullshit. I'm going to sit here and have myself a goddamn glass of tea.
Goddamn glass of Bacardi tea.
Yeah, exactly. And I am
We call
for
it
that.
Bacardi.
See what you did there? I'm for that life in your house. Fuck curtains. We have sheets.
Hell yeah, we do. It's great. Other than the cat.
Climbing it.
You know? Yeah,
Yeah.
he's already tried to climb the projection screen.
Oh,
and, like,
Jesus.
you motherfucker.
That
He knocked
cat.
that whole thing over.
God damn it.
Yeah.
It's such a loud noise, I'm sure.
It's a pretty soft fall because it's like a sail.
Oh.
But then what it hits is like all gets knocked over.
Oh, man.
You know, like your drinks and stuff.
Yeah, no thank you. Hard
Yeah,
pass.
yeah, super fun. But it's been a good time.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Now I just
Congratulations.
gotta wait for GTA 6 to come out.
Yeah.
That was the whole reason. Brandon's like, we should buy it, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm pretty sure it's coming out this year.
Is it, though? Because they just keep saying that.
They've said it for a while now, since like at least last year,
Yeah.
that it was going to be this year.
Well,
I think
see
it's
it
going to
when
be
I
the
believe
end
it.
of the year, probably like September, I think.
Sure. Just like those Epstein files and UFOs and JFK.
I know.
I'm so
It is
burned
a
on the
fucking
world.
legend at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
But I'm ready in case it does come out.
Yeah, you are.
You know,
Dude.
now I'll have an appropriate place to play it.
My 8-year-old keeps asking to play GTA 5 again because I let him play it before I remembered that there's like hookers and shit on it.
Mm-hmm. Send him to my house.
So he's got like
I'll play with him.
addiction.
Yeah.
He's like, can I play it? And I'm like, nah, man.
No, you can't. I wish my kids would ask to play it because I'd be like, yeah, let's go.
Oh, good luck though, because the first time they hit a hooker and hear those words, you're gonna be like, forgot about this part.
This is a mistake. Yeah. Yeah. What does that mean? Nothing.
Nothing, sweetheart.
Don't worry about it. She's just looking for her money.
Cause I'm pretty a loosey goosey parent, and even I was like, ooh, okay.
It's a little rough. You're right. You're
Although he
right.
was like, I don't know, 6, so I haven't let him play since.
Yeah.
Maybe he's older now, and I could be like, that's called a hoe, and you hit her.
If you hit her, you can take your money back.
Yeah.
I don't think that has been a thing since like the first couple GTAs, though. At least, maybe it's just not how I play. I'm like, respect the
No,
ladies.
I know. Like how I play too. Like when I was younger and shit, I just drove around and would throw
Follow
people
the
out of the car
stoplights.
and drive and stuff. Yeah. But then when your son is like, Mommy, why does she have no clothes on? And I hit her and she's on the ground. Uh-oh, she fell down. And you're like, she dropped money.
Don't worry about her.
Yeah. And now he knows. He's 8.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a whole brain up there.
Yeah, I haven't played it since my kids have been, like, cognizant.
Yeah.
You know?
Give it a try with them in the room and see how you feel about it.
All right.
If they just go cruising around. See, I was all about it. Like, he's never going to do a fucking mission, you know?
Yeah.
Like, he's fine.
Yeah.
And then it started getting into hookers and stuff, and Lee was like, I don't know about this. And I was like, it's fine. And then I watched him, and it was like, fuck you, whatever, bitch. Give me that, you cunt, or whatever. And I was like, oh. And then I went in to look in the settings to see if I could turn off, like, the mature or something, and you can't. And I was like,
They're like, it's not for 8-year-olds.
Yeah.
6-year-olds.
Yeah, it's grand theft.
Yeah.
Like, come on,
My
bitch.
kid did ask me because I was like, I'm super excited for GTA 6. And he said, what's GTA mean? And I said, Grand Theft Auto. And he said, what does that mean? And I was like,
You steal cars.
Stealing cars.
Yeah.
When you make me say it out loud.
Sounds rough. I don't know. I haven't tried it, but take it from a gal like me.
Who's tried it?
One
Right.
experience.
I'll stick with
a while
Minecraft,
ago.
you know?
And once
It's a
you
good
bring
one.
it out, they're going to ask for it. It's like crack.
It's
I get it
true.
all the time. When can I play GTA? When
That's
can I
true.
play GTA? And I'm like, fuck, man. I don't know. I don't know the rules on that one.
I was doing Red Dead for a while when they were around because
Yeah.
it's fun.
They love Red Dead.
Yeah, it's just like a horse you're riding
Yeah.
around. Oh, look at deer. And then, of course, I'm
You
like,
have to kill things.
Can't waste your
People.
kill. You got to go skin it. And they're like, why does it look like that? I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to look away.
I know. Lee was playing Red Dead the other day, and they're just like watching this full out battle, and I'm like, whatever, man. At
Yeah.
this point, gun violence, they're used to it. It's America.
From Fortnite.
They have to do fucking
God.
shooter drills in class. I don't know what I'm
know.
censoring them from. I don't know what I'm
Anyway,
doing.
if you
And
guys are on the
oh.
fence about having kids,
Don't do it. It's a fucking
real
trap,
treat.
man. It's a fucking trap. It's feral. I'm feralized. I'm done.
it's ghetto
I have
out
been
here.
feralized. It's like sterilized, but
Yeah, you've been feralized.
oh my god.
All right, let's talk murder.
I'm gonna talk murder.
Okay.
Or am I?
I
okay.
hope.
This week, I'm gonna tell you about Colleen Stan.
Stan, Colleen Stan, another 2 first name having motherfucker.
That's right. You got 2 fucking first names. Okay. So, as per usual, we're just diving right into it.
Love it.
So, Colleen Stan was born December 31st in 1956.
New Year's Eve.
On the eve of the new year,
What year?
1956.
Okay, 56.
And she was born in Eugene, Oregon.
Eugene, Oregon.
I'm pretty sure that's where we start off here in our
Okay.
story. I don't really know for sure, but I'm pretty sure it's somewhere in Oregon. Okay. So like I said, don't have much about our before times, but the story picks up in 1977 when Colleen was 20.
Okay. I
What?
was just thinking we don't normally hear about Oregon. I feel like that's a state that has...
And that's where all the murders be happening.
Is it? I feel like they've flown pretty under the radar.
No, remember we got the happy face killer? He was from Oregon.
Oh, shit. You're
Wasn't
right.
he? Yeah. What was that place called? Something with an S. Spokane.
No, that's Washington.
Oh, is that Washington?
Spokane, Washington.
Spokane, yeah. Oh
Spokane.
man, they're all the fucking same. though.
Spokane. I
Spokane.
think there's like a Roanoke, too.
I don't know. I just said it really fast, you know, before it left my brain.
Those are Washington. I feel like Oregon's flown pretty under the
You
radar.
think so?
Maybe.
See,
I don't
Washington and Oregon, I mush together in my brain. It's
Me
like the
too.
same.
know. Me too. And so then they get all of Washington's
Yeah.
credit, but
Yeah,
I don't
they
think
do
they
get all
deserve it.
Washington's credit. Okay, so we're in Oregon.
okay.
1977, Colleen's 20.
Perfect. Wow.
It's-
Good year.
Wait, why is 77 a good year for you?
I don't know. With these pants on, I feel like I
Oh,
was
okay,
born
you just
in
like the 70s.
Yeah.
Okay. It's May 19th, 1977, and Colleen was planning on visiting her friend who lived in Westwood, California, where she was going to go to a birthday party.
Okay. Is that like Northern California?
It must be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm. I didn't look it up.
This is a far way for a birthday
But-
party. California is enormous.
She's going to go there for a birthday party. Colleen decided that her best method to get from Eugene, Oregon to Westwood, California, which is about 380 miles or 611 kilometers,
Damn.
kilometers, her best method to get there was hitchhiking because it's the 70s. Yeah, so she's like, hey,
380 fucking miles to hitchhike?
that's usually how they do it, though, is like long distances.
How are you going to get home, though? You know?
Hitchhiking, yeah. you
Also,
know.
wasn't there like a bus?
Yeah, like a Greyhound?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that costs money.
Yeah, but not a lot in the 70s.
I know. It's probably $20.
I know it didn't cost a lot because my mom was a bus person and she for sure would have been a hitchhiker.
Yeah.
If it was like too much.
Growing up, my uncles hitchhiked to us all the time.
That's crazy.
So that would have been like 80s, 90s. Like mid to late 90s. And then it turned to buses. That's when the hitchhiking stopped.
Mm.
And then we would pay for their Greyhound tickets, which, again, couldn't have been that much because we were paying for them.
Right.
Like,
You're
I'm
like,
guessing $30, which was probably
I'll
like
pay $50
fucking
for you to
60.
leave.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so she's like, not going to pay for a ticket. I'm just going to hitchhike there.
All right, brave woman.
Well, Colleen was an experienced hitchhiker because, again, it's the 70s. This was kind of a normal mode for transportation. Mm-hmm. And so she always felt safe catching rides from strangers because she had like a set of rules she would follow if she ever got a weird vibe, whatever like that. She would never get in the car, right?
Okay.
So now she's out there thumbing for a ride on May 19th, and 2 drivers stopped to pick her up. But the first driver that stopped, she refused to get in with them.
Uh-oh.
She said that something felt off or like not safe or whatever, so she decided not to get in the car. But
Okay.
then the second driver was a man named Cameron Hooker, who was 23 years old, and he was a lumber mill worker. And he was driving down the road with his wife and his child, like a baby or something.
Okay.
And so he pulls off the road to offer Colleen a ride, and she sees Janice, the wife, and the little kid, and she's like, hey, this is a whole family. I can trust them. And so she hops into their blue van to hitch a ride.
Hate that it's a van, but I'm on board because lady and kid, you feel safer.
It is the safest method. Okay. As you can guess, per how our stories usually go, this was a bad idea for Colleen to get in the car. Everything was fine at first. And at one point, Cameron stopped to get gas, and Colleen ran inside the gas station to use the restroom. And while she was in the restroom, she had this voice in her head that was telling her, like, this isn't safe. You need to run. Like, escape out the window and book it and don't look back.
Oh,
but
shit.
she calmed her nerves. She ignored the voice, and she walked back out to the car to hit the road again.
Oh, no.
About 20 minutes back into the drive.
Never ignore the voice.
I know, right? 20 minutes back into the drive, Cameron pulls off onto some random road, and he says, like, oh, there's a curvy, windy road up here. I really want to hit these curves, you know? Like, we're going to pull off and try this road out or something.
What?
Super weird.
Sir, I'd just like to keep going. I'll stay on the
Exactly.
main road. You can leave me. I'll find the next ride.
Yeah, I'll catch my next hitch, whatever.
Yeah.
I guess there was, like, a lake or a pond or something out there, so Cameron pulled over and let Janice get out of the car with the kid, and they were playing by the lake. And I guess Colleen stayed in the car with Cameron
Hate it.
because instead of driving off after the family gets out of the car, Cameron jumped in the back seat with Colleen and held a knife to her throat.
Nope.
And then he proceeded to tie Colleen up,
Oh, no.
and he put fucking trigger warning for the rest of this whole story. He put a homemade wooden box over her head.
What?
It was homemade. This box had like hinges and shit. It had like, imagine a box in a hole in the bottom with 2 flappies, like kind of like the flaps on a cardboard box, but like semicircles cut out so you could put a neck there, you know? And then that side had fucking like padlock clamps so that he could padlock it shut.
What the
So
fuck?
like the box went over her head and those little flappies closed around her neck, and then he padlocked them shut. And inside of the box was like this fabric shit or something so that she couldn't see or hear. Like no air could get in, no light could get in, nothing. It's like a fucking homemade wooden box over her head.
What the fuck?
Remember, he was a lumber mill worker, so the homie's got access to wood and shit.
Did the wife know about the box?
Did the wife know about the box? Why the fuck is this in your car with you? I have questions.
Did the wife use the box? Like,
I
was the
questions.
wife like, thank God it's not me this time?
Thank God it's somebody else in that box and not my head.
Oh my God. Who has a head box?
Who has a head box? Fucking Cameron does. So Cameron takes out his head box, puts it over her head. Like I said, it was designed to prevent lights, sound, and fresh air and all that from coming into the box. Yeah. And he locked it onto her head.
Uh-huh.
It turns out that Cameron and Janice had just come up with an agreement that Cameron could capture a sex slave to take Janice's place because he was like forcing her to have all this sex with him and shit. And she was like, I'm not having it. Like, I just had a kid and shit. And he's like, okay, well, I have needs. And she's like, okay, well, you can get yourself a sex slave. Like, let's go get that.
Girl, that is not the next step.
We skipped some steps.
There are plenty of steps in between
Yeah.
a fucking sex slave
Yeah.
and like, hey, honey, you need to give me 6 weeks after having this baby.
Right? Like, I need a moment.
Yeah.
Well.
Sir has needs. Fuck you.
Yeah. It turns out that Cameron had been using Janice to act out his sexual fantasies around bondage and such.
Sure.
And Janice was over it. And so they agreed that Cameron could go catch himself a little sex slave, but that he couldn't have penetrative sex. Penetrative? What's the word?
Penetrative.
I'm a parent.
Penetrative?
Yeah, I think I said, okay, yeah.
Like
Anyway,
penetrate?
yeah, he couldn't have sex with her. Like, he couldn't put his dick in her vag, right?
Okay, because that would be cheating.
Right, exactly. But he could,
Which is a lot worse than Grand Theft Person.
I suppose to Janice it is. So when Colleen was seen hitchhiking, the couple were like, perfect, we found your sex slave, let's scoop her up. So that's how we end up here.
Oh my God.
Oh my God is right. Like, so don't just, that fucking child was a bait. That was a trick. That was a trap.
That was a
You've
trap.
been trapped.
That baby was a trap because that mom was like, listen, you get in because fucking I am out of here.
I'm done with this head box. Get me out of here.
Oh my God.
Oh,
that's so rough.
It's terrifying. So they get Colleen back to their house, right? Like after she's in the head box, the whole family gets in the car. The little kid's so little, he doesn't fucking know what's going on.
Yeah, right.
Or she. I don't remember if it's a boy or girl, but
is it like a baby or a child?
I think it's like a baby. Okay. Like in a car seat baby.
Okay.
Right? So they have no idea
like
what's going on.
Toddler at best.
Mm-hmm. They get back to their house, which is in Red Bluff, California, which was 2 hours west of her original destination in Westwood, California. Now, once inside of the couple's homes, Cameron took Colleen into the basement and he gagged and blindfolded her and put the box back on her head, like took it off to like gag her, get her all set up, whatever. Put the box back on her head, put handcuffs on her, and then he hung her by the arms in the rafters of his basement.
Well, that's fucked up.
Like hung her. This whole story is really fucked up.
That's super fucked up.
It was super painful for Colleen because she's just hanging off of her shoulders at this point, right?
Oh my God. And your wrists?
Uh-huh. Yeah, like her wrist, her handcuffs were what was being hung. She was like thrashing around trying to find something to rest her feet on because of the pressure of hanging was hurting her so bad.
And she's gagged?
Yeah. And anytime she would thrash around, Cameron would beat her with a whip.
Oh my God.
To like make her calm down.
That
doesn't work.
First of all,
did
he try asking her to calm down?
Could you slow down? I guess after about 15 minutes or so of her hanging and like being super uncomfortable, he eventually gave her something to stand on to take the pressure off. But
oh my
it was
God,
like
he's so sweet.
Yeah, but it was like barely. Like she was on her tiptoes, hanging there. And while she was hanging there, she said that she could see a little bit through her blindfold or the head box. I don't know how, because everything said that it was designed to not let any light in or whatever. Or maybe this was in between one of the sessions or whatever the fuck, because she gets held captive for a long time.
Well, it might be hard to hang her with the head box on, because if you think
like
about
heavy,
your arms being up like that,
right?
Like
maybe
there's no
it's
room
just a
for
blindfold
a
then.
Yeah,
I don't know. Oh my God. Ugh. So either which way, she says that she was able to see under her blindfold at a point and could see that there was this magazine spread out on the floor, and it was depicting a woman in bondage hanging much like she was. Like it was a bondage, like
fetish thing.
Yeah, fetish porn fucking magazine. Yeah. And then she could hear Cameron and Janice having sex on the floor beneath her.
Oh.
Yeah. So he was getting his rocks off on her hanging there. After Cameron and Janice were done, Cameron came and took the box off Colleen's head. I guess it was on there. I don't know how he's doing this shit. That's gotta be so fucking uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like think of your biceps be just cutting into like the corners of the
wood.
box.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds awful. So he takes the box off of her head and removed the footrest and made her hang again for another 10 to 15 minutes, which again was super painful.
That's the longest time.
Oh
That's
my God.
so awful.
I can't imagine. He then removed her from the rafters and put the head box back on her and made her lay down in a coffin-sized wooden box that he had made.
This guy's so crafty.
He's very crafty. It was just like a wooden box.
Like a coffin.
Literally a coffin. But it was big enough that her head box could fit in it too. So he made her lay in the head box.
Coffin head box.
It was a nesting coffin head box. So she had to wear the head box, lay down in the body box, and then he cuffed her up and chained her feet or tied her feet up somehow and tied them to the box so she couldn't move around in the box. So she's
That's
just
so fucked
stuck
up
in there.
Oh my God, I want to bend my knees just thinking about that.
I can't breathe telling you this story.
No,
it's so
that's
hard.
Awful.
So now she's tied up in the box, and he makes her stay there through the night.
Is it like a lay down box or
like a lay down box? Like she's laying down in a box with a box on her head.
I wonder if it's
chained up. Like there's no way you can get out. You're in a coffin. No. It looked just like a wooden box.
Oh my God.
And like imagine laying down. That would hurt your neck so bad.
That's what I'm thinking with the fucking head box on
torture, literal torture. So left her in there throughout the night, and then the next day he came and took her out of the box and he hung her on what they're calling a homemade, quote, rack, which the best description I could get from it was basically like a door frame on feet so that the door frame could be anywhere. It doesn't have to be like on a wall or whatever.
Okay.
And then he chained her wrist and ankles to each corners of the frame, like an X kind of, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he left her on the rack hanging there until the following day.
Oh my God. Hanging again?
Yeah. So in the morning, she was let out of the box and then hung to this rack and then just hanging there. Cameron fed Colleen somewhere during all of this, during the first, I don't know, what is this, 2 days? He fed her at some point, but she wasn't able to finish her food because she's being tortured, right? Yeah. And this made Cameron super angry, so he hung her back from the basement rafters and forced her to eat food. I know, until I think she did or she threw up or some shit, something like that. And then he moved her back to the rack after that whole thing. But he's just torturing her.
Yeah.
Cameron and Janice kept Colleen naked, bound, blindfolded, and gagged in their basement for the next 5 months this way.
5 months?
5 fucking months. Naked, hanging from a rack. Naked, hanging from the rafters. Naked, put in a box. Like, she was kept like a toy and brought out whenever he wanted to play for 5 fucking months.
That's awful.
The first 7 to 10 days of her captivity, Colleen was forced to be chained to the rack naked in the head box basically 24 hours a day. That's the first, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
For the rest of the 5-month period of time, Colleen was forced to be in that box, naked, bound, with the head box on for 24 hours a day, only being let out once a day to pee, poop, eat, and drink, all while Cameron watched her. Like, she wasn't allowed to be, she couldn't take a shit without him sitting there staring at her. And she had to hold it until it was time. Same with the eating and drinking.
Ugh, girl.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. She was literally a prisoner of the worst kind.
Yeah.
It was during this time that she was out of the box that Cameron would perform varying acts of bondage on her, like sexual bondage acts. He would hang her from the rafters and tie her up so tight around her rib cage that she couldn't take a breath in. Ugh. He would tie her up to the rack and shock her body with electrical cords. Like, he would plug them in and cut them off and then,
what
zap
the
her.
fuck?
Yeah, what the fuck is right? He even used a heat lamp to burn her genitals.
Oh, no.
Oh, no!
No, that sounds terrible.
He would take her down and submerge her head in a bathtub, forcing her to hold her breath for long periods of time, basically drowning her, like waterboarding her and shit. By October of 1977, so this all started in May, right?
Oh my God.
I know. This is her fucking existence, okay? By October, Cameron had built a triangular-shaped box that fit under the stairs in the basement, and this was Colleen's new box to live in. Now, imagine a basement closet, right? Under the stairs, like Harry Potter.
Yeah.
But imagine to where you can only just open the door and stand inside of it and close it. That's all it was. It wasn't a room. Like, she couldn't move in. It was just a triangular box. You could sit in it, and that was about it. And you had to sit sideways. So, like, the back of the chair would be to the side. Like, you'd open the door and see me sitting sideways, and there'd be a wall there. Like, there was no room. It wasn't a room. It was a box again. It was just in the shape of a doorway under the stairs. Yeah. He made this new little room for her that wasn't a room, it was a box. And then she spent her days chained and locked inside that box, which Cameron called the workshop all the time. And at night, he would pull her out of the workshop, and he would obviously subject her to more of his bondage torture. Mm-hmm. Cameron had convinced Colleen that there was this underground organization called The Company. And he says that this company bought and sold sex slaves. And if you didn't stay, like if you were a slave, they would monitor your every move and they would torture you if they caught you. Like, if you escaped, they were going to torture you and your family. So, like, the company was always watching. He said he had cameras in his house and that her family had cameras, like people spying on them and knew everything they were doing and everything, and they were watching her behavior. So if she stepped out of line, that her family would die. And she believed this.
Well,
that's what kept her in the captivity.
She
right?
spent months there. Well, and she doesn't really have a lot of
way
opportunity
to escape, right? Yeah, but she really believed it. Like, she was afraid.
Yeah.
He told her that the company had secret members hidden everywhere, and they were watching for slaves to escape. And if you tried to escape, they wouldn't only torture you, but your family and everything. So it was like, you can't trust anybody. They're all with the company. You don't know who's with the company. You can't confide in anybody. And they'll test you all the time. They're going to test your loyalty. Like, people will try to let you escape, but you can't listen to them because you're just going to be tortured forever. Like, it's a fucking mind game at this point.
Yeah. Oh, my God. I don't know if that would work on me, because I'd be like, hey, listen, have you seen my surroundings lately?
I know, right? Exactly.
I guess I would like some of that to go to my family members.
But it's 1977, you know?
Yeah, I know.
To reinforce his lies and his stories, Cameron would say things like, for example, in January of 1978, Janice had knee surgery for some reason or another, But Cameron used this opportunity to tell Colleen that Janice was actually a sex slave who did try to escape from a previous master and that the company just got her. And so she had to have surgery because they like whacked her knee or something, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so he would like, whatever would happen in their life, he would blame on the company for Colleen to believe so that she'd be more scared.
Yeah, makes sense.
Janice was afraid of Cameron herself, so she would just go along with his lies.
Yeah.
And would never tell Colleen that she wasn't attacked or a sex slave or anything. I mean, to Cameron, she kind of was. But, you know, like, she just went along with it.
Yeah, yeah.
In early 1978, Cameron drew up a sex slave contract for Colleen to sign. And in this contract, it stated that Cameron would now own Colleen's soul and that she has to be his sex slave forever, for indefinitely, right?
Now.
Yeah. Colleen saw this and she was like, yeah, I'm not going to sign that. Like, you can tell me all this other shit, but I'm not signing that contract. But Cameron convinced her that if she didn't sign it, that the company would get her. And so she was like sobbing through it, but she eventually signed the contract because she thought that the company, like, she really believed that. That's all it took. It was like a mental trap.
Yeah.
Like, you have to, not that it matters. It's a fucking fake contract.
No,
but
I
to
know.
her, it felt very real.
Yeah,
right?
I get that. I guess to me, though, I'm very like, oh, you're dumb. Like, I'll sign this shit because it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah,
Because later I'm going
sure.
to be like, yeah, no, I was under duress. You
Yeah.
know, like,
Yeah,
I have
yeah,
all of these things in
exactly.
my, you know,
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
brain.
But I mean, you gotta remember the times too.
Yeah,
People
it
are
was
like,
different.
you're really gonna have my soul.
And nobody signed anything without reading it. And, my
and
dad
now we're
still,
like, sure, I agree to the terms and services.
Yeah, you can turn me into a human centipede, sure, as long as
Yeah.
I get to use my iPhone.
Yeah, exactly. Here's all my information. So she signs this contract. And after signing the contract, she was granted some new freedoms.
Wow, good for her.
Right? So her new name was to be Kay, no longer Colleen.
Didn't need that.
Nope. And she was allowed to come upstairs from the basement.
Wow. Are they going to make her take care of the kid? It's a
Oh,
whole other
you just
fucking
wait.
torture.
So Cameron was to be addressed as master or sir,
Hate
and
it.
Janice as ma'am. I
Mhm.
know, super hate it.
Ma'am.
Ma'am,
Ma'am.
get your child, ma'am. Colleen was also required to kneel, bow her head, and ask for permission before doing anything. So she was like a slave.
Mhm.
Your typical bondage slave thing that you see online and shit, right?
Yeah. Here's the thing. You can get those willingly.
I know. And back in the 77s, evidently, there wasn't a streamlined way to do so because people just be snatching them off the street and being like, anyway, I'm going to tie you up.
This is going to be your life now.
He could have found somebody who wanted this.
There are people that
Yeah.
would gladly pay along for
I
you to pay
know.
their rent.
I know, exactly. But not fucking Colleen, man. Don't take her.
No.
Jesus Christ.
They have to be willing. There's this thing we do now. It's called consent.
Exactly. You wouldn't be aware of it in the 70s.
Apparently, this guy wasn't.
No, he wasn't. So she's free, right, to walk around, but she's got to ask for permission and say, sir and ma'am. He put a collar around Colleen's neck as a reminder that she was his slave.
Mhm.
And she wore out 2 collars. Like, she's in captivity so long.
Wore
out 2 collars, gone, broken, busted. And so eventually what he did was he pierced her right labia or some shit, and as a symbolic way to say, you're still my slave. So she had that going for her.
Ugh.
So the first few months of captivity, Cameron never had intercourse with Colleen. That wasn't until January of 1978, because remember, they had that deal, like he could have a bondage sex slave, but he couldn't have intercourse with her.
Mhm.
But in January of 1987, I guess Janice came up with this idea or said that it might excite her if Cameron had sex with Colleen or some shit like that. So Cameron had intercourse with Colleen, aka raped her,
Mhm.
and Janice got pissed. It did not excite her. It did the opposite. And so they
I was wrong.
yeah. And so they got in a fight, and he wasn't allowed to have intercourse with Colleen anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Then, in April of 1987, Cameron and Janice had moved into a mobile home. For some reason, they had to move out of their house with the basement and everything. And they moved into a mobile home, and they took Colleen with them.
He's supporting 3 mouths.
I know. It
You
must be
know?
really hard.
Yeah, poor guy's just trying to live his best life with all his slaves.
I guess. So, but now we have a problem, right? Like, where's Colleen going to live?
Where is the torture chamber going to go?
Yeah, because that workshop was built into the stairs, right?
Yeah.
Well, what he did was he made a pedestal for their waterbed, and he built a box under their waterbed for her to live in, and that was her new quarters in the new home.
Number one.
Yeah.
I would be terrified that bed would, like, break and drown me.
Yeah.
Or squish
Any
me.
minute.
Because those are, like, I don't know, 4,000 pounds.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
Afraid of all of those same things.
I don't trust your fucking workmanship that this box isn't going to crumble itself.
Nope. But she didn't have a choice.
I know, I
guess. She
guess.
was just kept under that fucking waterbed.
I'd be fucking praying for it every night.
Oh my God, I bet. In her new box, Colleen was allowed to have toilet paper.
Oh,
a bedpan. I know.
Probably
She was allowed to have a bedpan and a radio.
Okay, but now I'm guessing there is
Yeah.
not enough room to even sit up in this.
No, you got to lay down and use the bedpan.
That's fucked up.
I mean, that's what people do when they have, like, hip surgery and shit. That's so fucked up.
Yeah, but imagine not even being able to, like, sit up a little.
I can't imagine.
You know?
How do you shit? I don't know. You wait until you're free? I don't know.
I don't think I could pee laying down.
It would spray everywhere. I have no idea.
Girl, it would be in the air.
Yeah, it'd be all... I mean, the box did have stains in it when I saw pictures, so...
Oh, that's
I'm
so
sure
sad.
things happened.
Was there a light in there?
You know, I don't know if there was a light. I'm not quite sure. It didn't say. It said a
Shitting
radio.
in the dark, you know?
Never said she had a
Oh,
light.
a radio.
Look at that. She had a radio. In September of 1987, Janice gave birth to the couple's second kid on the waterbed while Colleen was held captive underneath her.
I have so many thoughts on that.
That's fucking gotta be a bad omen into the world.
Number one.
Yeah, tell me.
Why are you trying to save your marriage with another baby?
Not gonna work. I have a feeling that it was like lack of contraceptive and she was being forced to have sex with this dude. I don't, because who in their right mind would have another kid?
Right.
Yeah. There's no way. That's what I'm thinking, but I don't know for sure.
I mean, you're probably right.
And then to have a home birth,
no thank you.
that can't be a choice either.
Right.
Yeah.
I wonder.
I like how it totally is a choice for a lot of people, and we're like, no fucking way.
There's no way that she was convinced to do that. You want to take the epidural, girl. You're not a hero.
Yeah, you don't get extra points.
No. You'll go out
In
of
fact,
this
it
world
only gets harder.
the same fucking way.
Oh my God. Okay. So, from April of 1979 until January of 1980, Janice had gotten a job, okay? And she worked nights. So that meant that Cameron would come home from work and he would let Colleen out of her box so that he could make her dinner and do dishes and shit. Because he's like, oh shit, this is kind of hard without a wife around, right? Like to have a house. So he let her out of the box for that. Then in 1980, Janice ended up getting a day job instead of a night job. And so then Cameron would let Colleen out of the box during the day so that she could babysit for the children so that Janice and Cameron could go to work during the day. And then Colleen would stay home and watch the kids.
They both went to work during
They
the
both
day?
went to work.
And she's staying home watching the kids.
Yeah.
And
she's
so
not
convinced
escaping.
that the company is on them.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
It's so sad. When she was taking care of the kids, Colleen would get to spend her nights in the back bathroom. Like, they would chain her to the toilet, and that's where she would sleep, but she wouldn't have to sleep under the bed.
Wow.
So that's a pretty good scenario, right?
Yeah.
But they chained her up so she couldn't escape. But then they were letting her hang out all day with the kids and not escape.
Not chained up.
Right. Colleen had found this new freedom, but was terrified that the company was going to track her down, right? So she never tried to escape. Then, in February of 1981, Cameron wanted Colleen to go back into the box because he was worried that she was getting a little too comfortable with all her newfound freedoms. And so he forced Janice to quit her job and take care of the kids, and Colleen was sent back to the box. So here's fucking Cameron being like, whoa, she's not our maid. This wasn't for you. This is my sex slave. She's getting too comfortable. Come back and take care of your kids. And I'm putting my sex slave back in the box.
Jesus.
I know.
What a fucking selfish
What a
with his
twat.
sex slave.
Right? So some of the times when Colleen was let out of the box, she would be forced to do some paperwork for the couple's companies that they worked for. Now, I don't know if this was like, do my work for me so that when I go back to work, I could turn this in. Or if it was like they owned companies and needed free labor. I don't know what the fuck, but they were just having her do little random shit that they didn't want to do all the time. Another thing that she was forced to do was dig a big hole in the backyard with Cameron. And Janice would stand, like, on the lookout. I don't know what the fuck she was looking out for. Like, people to be like, hey, what are you digging that hole for? But anyway, it took 2 years to dig this hole.
What
and
the fuck?
I know. And they eventually lined it in, like, cinder blocks and shit. Yeah. It was estimated that during this time, Colleen was raped about 1 to 2 times a week by Cameron between March 1980 to March 1981. So this is all during when everybody's working and now she's back being the sex slave. And Cameron would like sneak her out and rape her because he's not supposed to have intercourse with her, right? These assaults would take place in various places, from another homemade frame to this stretcher device that I guess he had that would stretch her limbs while he was having sex with her. Yeah. There was also
I would cause so much fucking drama in that house. I'd be like, you know, he boned me.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Hey, remember you said he shouldn't do that,
right?
Just letting you know.
The company is watching.
Just letting you know.
Yeah.
I want to be on board with all of this.
Yeah. Yeah, right? I just want to be open and honest with you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I don't know what was going on. I don't know if that was happening and then she would just get mad, like Janice would be mad for a little bit, or what was going on. But
also, if you're going to trust me to, like, watch your kids and stuff, I'm going to teach them fucked up shit.
For sure.
I'm going to be like, you know.
Your dad's an awful man. Your mom's not much better either. She's probably a victim herself, but still.
I would tell them in detail all of the things that they did to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you want to be drowned?
And I'd be like, run.
Yeah.
Go tell the neighbors right now.
But I would just fuck them up mentally. I'm not even looking for a way out. It's backstabby as hell. I'll ruin your children.
The ultimate way. Like, stab him in his sleep.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so
I'll make him say things like acrost.
Oh, or
axe you a question.
Yeah.
Like,
however they
want to go across the street. Yeah.
Milk.
Yeah. Just teach them all fucked up stuff. Anyway,
Hello.
Sorry.
Okay, I love it. I love this form of torture. So, basically, she was still being tortured in this trailer. He still found ways to, like, hang her up and all that other shit.
Mm-hmm.
There was even a shed put on the property where he would hang her up from the rafters of the shed, similar to what he would do in the basement, but he could, like, hang her.
Is this like a trailer park trailer?
I'm guessing it's like a trailer on some land.
Okay. That's what it sounds more like,
right?
Especially with this hole in the ground.
Right. Or if it's a trailer park, they're pretty well spaced out.
Yeah.
So, at some point in 1980, Colleen told Cameron that she loved him as a tactic to get him to, like, soften up and grant her more freedoms.
Mm-hmm.
She eventually convinced him to allow her to call her parents and let them know that she was alive.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And she would often ask to go visit them, and he kept being like, no, but you can call. So she would be allowed to call, but with him on the phone, supervising her. So she would play along the whole time because she was worried about the company, right?
Yeah.
Well, in February of 1981, Cameron finally agrees to let Colleen visit her family under the guise that Cameron is her boyfriend and they're happy together, yada, 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 right? Like, she's just visiting. I'm just living with my new boyfriend, whatever. Let's go visit my family.
Okay.
So, to set the stage, Cameron instructs Colleen to tell his children and the neighbors, because I guess at this point she had kind of known some of the neighbors throughout, like, the day of being able to take care of the kids and stuff. Obviously, they had no idea what was going on or anything like that, and I'm not sure what the story was to the neighbors as to why Colleen was there.
Mm-hmm.
But Cameron gets Colleen to tell the neighbors and the kids that she's going to be leaving forever. Like, hey, I'm going to go move somewhere else, right? Like, I'm out of here.
That doesn't sound good.
It doesn't sound like a good setup. And so they set a date and they all say their goodbyes. And Cameron sent her off to go live her new life, pretended to drive her off to the bus station to go somewhere. But really, he had her in, like, the back of the car hiding and smuggled her back into the house, back into her little hidey hole under the bed.
What?
Back under the box. So now everyone thinks that Colleen is gone from the neighborhood. The kids don't know she's in the house or anything.
What?
And they keep her hiding. I know. It's so fucking weird. And they keep her hiding. And I guess this was, like, all a test of her obedience leading up to if she can get to go to her parents' house or something like that. Because at some point, the couple puts a gun in her mouth and pulls the trigger, and there's no bullet in there, like, scaring her and testing her. Like, are you going to run away? Are you going to blow our cover? Whatever it is. I don't really fucking understand it. But they were going hard on her, and now they're hiding her, right?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, she was already hidden, but they're taking away her freedoms now, setting the stage that she's not going to have any more freedoms.
Well, yeah. And then any neighbors that, oh, no, well, that was happening, but she left in whatever.
Right, exactly. So she lived there for another month in hiding under the bed before Cameron, and, like, only coming out at night to be taken advantage of and then put back under the bed.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like that for a month before Cameron finally drove her to Riverside, California to go visit her family, because that's where her family lived.
Wow.
Now, Cameron explained to Colleen that in order to let her go on this trip to visit her family, that he had to negotiate a deal with, quote, the company, because this is a sex slave. She's not supposed to have any freedoms. But he was able to pull together a shit pot full of money. I think it was like 30 grand or some stuff to grant her this freedom to go
Wow.
visit her family.
What an honorable man.
Right? And it was so expensive because they had to pay for like bodyguards and surveillance and everything to keep an eye on her and her family while they were out and about. So that's his reasoning for why it was so expensive, to get the company to agree. Like, he's paying for all this surveillance.
Now she owes him, I'm sure.
Because, like, what if she tries to escape, you know? So he told her that they were going to have to stop at the headquarters on the way into Riverside.
HQ?
At the company's headquarters, which I guess was allegedly in fucking Sacramento or some shit. And he said that she was going to have to stop and do a lie detector test. Now, I don't know if this lie detector test was to determine if she was going to run on him, or if it was to, like, see if you can lie well enough to your family that even a lie detector test can't pick up that you're lying. I don't really know what the reasoning or whatever, but she was really nervous for this. Like, she was like, I'm not going to pass it, and I just want to go see my family so bad. She was super nervous. And he pulls up to headquarters, quote unquote. I don't know where the fuck he was.
Just a Chick-fil-A.
Right? Exactly. So he pulls up, he parks the car, and he gets out of the car, and she's sitting in there all nervous. And he eventually comes back, and he's like, good news. I was able to talk them out of it. You don't have to do the lie detector test.
Wow.
And so she was like, score, onto Riverside.
Wow.
So they go off to her family's location, their house or whatever. And the whole time in Riverside, there's times when she's left alone with her family members and she wanted to tell them so badly what was going on and that she was being held captive, but she was so afraid that they would kill her family, that the company would come and kill her family. So she kept her mouth shut the whole time. And she pretended the whole time that she was happy with Cameron. I mean, like, her family took pictures of them smiling together and shit, but that was her captive in front of her family.
That's so sad.
Now, her family the whole time, they were like, some of the shit is weird and it doesn't make sense, but they thought she was in a cult. And so their whole thing was like, we don't want to push her so bad that she pushes away.
Yeah.
So they were like trying to balance it all, but they knew something wasn't right, but they didn't know how bad it was.
Yeah.
So she never says anything to her family. They buy the act and they visit, and then Cameron drives Colleen back home to the trailer and puts her in the box under the bed. She gets this free week with her family, and then gets put back in her little prison.
Holy shit, dude.
Holy fucking shit. This next stint of time, from March 1981 until May of 1984, years, Colleen lived in the box under the bed, and the children of the home had no idea that she was there.
Oh my God.
For years. And
those
these
kids
children
have got to be 84 from 77?
I thought you were talking about their age. I was like, probably not 84 yet.
Not quite. They're 7 years old.
They
One
know.
of them.
Oh, yeah. Like, and these
I could
kids...
not hide a person from my child in our house.
No.
Either of my kids.
I know. Shit, man. The rules must have been strict in that house. Like, don't go in mom and dad's room.
I guess.
Why's your bed so high?
Well, my kids jump on my bed constantly.
Yeah, but it was a waterbed.
Even better.
Would be on that all the time.
Even better.
So fucking weird.
Oh my God.
So fucking weird. So she lived in the box under the bed. Children had no idea she was even in the home. And these children knew her.
Yeah.
So obviously, Colleen is still bought into this whole, like, the company's gonna get her. Otherwise, she wouldn't still be there.
Mm-hmm.
Janice has knee surgery again for whatever reason. And while she's having surgery, Cameron rapes Colleen more, right? So it's every time Janice is gone, Cameron rapes Colleen.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, he admits to Janice that he had been having intercourse with Colleen whenever she was away. And Janice got super upset by this. Right? Which I don't know why she's so surprised, but okay.
I know, right?
Eventually...
Oh my God, the liar lied.
Yeah, I know, right? In late of 1982, Cameron started forcing Janice to read him Bible verses about how men should have sex slaves or some crap. I don't know what verses
they're
finding.
Is that in the
Bible? I guess. I don't know.
Is that
they
in the
wrote
New
all of the verses and I didn't write it down.
Testament?
Yeah. It's in something. The Revelations?
That old
Was
one.
that the Revelation?
Revelations. I've had a revelation.
I've decided all men should have sex slaves.
As a man, I've had a revelation.
Yeah. So, but he's got himself convinced that he's supposed to have sex slaves. It's in the Bible. He's supposed to have up to 4 sex slaves. He's really entitled to them.
I feel like if the Bible says anything that people should have sex slaves, then it's kind of like denoted or whatever to the people of status, you know? Like,
yeah, like only status people
like,
can have sex slaves.
Yeah. You're just a dude. Like, not everyone can have a sex slave.
Yeah. fucking Cameron. You're
Yeah.
just a dude
You're just a fucking
With a
dude. He was a
boner.
carpenter, though,
who wants to tie people up. Yep.
much like our Lord and Savior.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Well, Jesus complex.
I wonder how he does with water and wine, you know?
Probably mixes them up all the time.
All the time. Oopsie. Is that fish or bread?
Guess we'll never know. Gross. Hate him.
Uh-huh, exactly. So, obviously, like I said, Janice is super upset by all of this, but she's afraid of him. And he's
Yeah.
now like, oh, look, I need sex slaves. And she's like, God damn it.
She's like, the Bible does say it.
It
I
does
guess.
say it, and you keep raping our sex slaves, so this is pretty awful.
Guess I don't have much of a choice, huh?
I hate this pretty much. Anyway, it continues on. She doesn't really put up much of a stink. She
Yeah.
can't do anything about it. She's a victim in a way as well.
Yeah.
And at the end of 1983, Cameron had moved Colleen from under the bed into that hole that they had dug in the backyard because it's like cinder blocked in, right?
Yeah,
This
that's where I
is-
figured she was going.
Yeah, this is his sex slave quarters that he's trying to build.
Yeah, it's like a bunker.
Right. Problem was, the first week that she was there, it rained. And guess what happens when it rains? Your bunker floods.
Uh-oh.
And so it flooded out, so they had to move her back under the bed.
You know, I would have preferred to be in the flooded out bunker.
Honestly, me too. I'd be
Depending
like,
how much it's raining.
I can find shelter under this tree. I guess I don't really know. If you're shackled and you're slowly drowning, that sounds terrible.
That sounds terrible, but I feel like I just don't want to be under their fucking bed.
Ah,
Like, I don't want to be so
God.
close to you. I want to be in your
Seriously.
doors. I want to be in your
Honestly.
walls. I want to be in this
Sounds awful.
bunker,
I
I guess.
bet when she was in that box, she was like, at least I know they're not going to fucking touch me.
That's probably true.
Oh, that's awful. Okay, so eventually, they move her back under the bed. The water goes away, and eventually Cameron moves her back outside. But the couple thought that one of the children had seen her or something. I don't know if they were playing outside, and they were like, what the fuck is this? I don't know how, but some way or another, they thought one of the kids knew that Colleen was out there, so they brought her back under the bed.
Okay.
In January of 1984, Colleen was granted more freedoms at night where she would be allowed out of the box to sleep in the bathroom chained to the toilet, much like she was during all that other fucking endeavor and shit.
And then a kid gets up in the middle of the night to pee.
Yeah, I know. There must be more than one toilet in that house.
It's a trailer.
Yeah. She was eventually allowed out for work at a local hotel
For
as a maid.
work?
Yeah, so she eventually gets a job. Okay?
For work?
For work during the day.
She already has a job.
So I don't know how this would work with the kids. I'm guessing they would get sent off to school or whatever first, and then Colleen would be allowed out to go work her shift.
To go shower and put on clothes? Did they
Right.
buy her fucking clothes?
Right. And so Janice would drive her to her job every morning. And then when she would get paid, when Colleen would get paid, she'd give her a whole paycheck to Cameron.
Yeah.
And Cameron would give her a $20 allowance for the week.
For
So-
what?
Fuck, I don't know. Lunch? Who knows?
It's not
Enough? I
That's
don't
not
know.
enough for a per diem.
I don't know. While this is all going on, at night, Cameron started bringing Colleen into bed with Janice and him, and so he would bone Janice while fondling Colleen, or one or the other. Like, he's slowly introducing her to the bedroom, and Janice didn't like this, but what is she going to do, right?
Girl, where did you think this was going to end?
Right, exactly. What do you think he's going to do with the sex slave?
Right.
So eventually, Cameron announces that he would alternate nights having sex with each woman one night. You know, like, hey, I got you this night, you the next night.
Is Janice going in the box?
So far, Janice is not going in the box. Neither of the ladies liked this plan, but they had to listen to him, right? Janice started bringing Colleen to church because now Janice is a victim too, right? Like even more of a victim. And so she's starting to befriend Colleen. And she's like, hey, I go to church all the time. Do you want to come to church with me? And Colleen's like, fuck yeah, I'd love to get out of this box. So they start going to church. And Janice goes to her pastor and starts having nervous breakdowns all the time and is talking about what's going on in the house, right?
What?
Yeah. And
Okay,
the pastor...
also, passive-aggressively, as Colleen, I'd be like, does it say anything about sex slaves?
Yeah, like I need to know the answers to this so that I can come prepared with rebuttals when he says this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, in Jesus' mind,
Yeah, like,
I guess.
are we okay with it?
What's your stance on sex slaves?
Exactly.
Living in boxes? I don't know.
But this pastor was like, hey, this sounds like a really dangerous situation. Like, you need to call the cops on Cameron, and you need to help get Colleen out of there, right?
And he didn't call the cops himself?
No, he did not.
What a fucking gem.
So he's like, this is what you need to do, right?
And Janice is like, cool, I'm not going to do that because it's going to blow up my life.
Cool. I'm terrified. So what Janice does do is one morning she drops Colleen off at work to do her maid work. And then she goes back to church and she talks to her pastor because she's having like a nervous breakdown one morning. And she's like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't live like this anymore. And the pastor is like, you need to go help her right now. Like, go help Colleen get out of here. Set yourself up and get everybody out. You're the one who can break this. And so she goes back to Colleen's work while she's working, and she's like, hey, I know this is really weird and random or whatever, but I just want to let you know that the company is not real. Like, all of this is a lie, right?
What?
Yeah. Until I've been lying along with him. He's awful, whatever.
But now she probably just thinks he's a liar. Like, she's lying to get the company to
and
fucking...
I think, I mean, you got to remember at this point, Colleen is saying, I love you to Cameron. Like, there's going to be some sort of Stockholm syndrome here, right? Like, I've lived with these people for fucking how many years at this point? Like, it's like 7 years or some shit.
Yeah.
You feel like you're part of this family, even if you are the gum on the bottom of his shoe. Like, you're still a part of it, right? So it devastated her that she was being lied to and all this shit. But nobody runs or anything, right? They all go back home. They act like everything's normal. And they go about the night as if nothing were different. Janice doesn't tell Cameron, hey, I told Colleen that the company isn't real, right?
Yeah.
Colleen doesn't tell Cameron. They're all just silent, pretending, playing their roles. The next morning, after Cameron went to work, Janice and Colleen took the kids to Janice's parents' house, and Colleen was allowed to call her parents and ask for bus money. So Janice is like, come on, Colleen, we're getting you out of here, and takes her to her parents' house. Colleen calls her parents, gets bus money. Now, I don't know if they went back home again and acted like everything was normal for another night, because it wasn't until the following day, on August 11th, that Colleen did her normal morning routine, and then she escaped to a bus stop. And right before getting on the bus, she called Cameron from work and said, there's nothing you can do. I'm leaving. I'm done. I found out this is all a lie, and I'm out of here. And I guess Cameron broke down crying on the phone and was like freaking out, but there's nothing he could do, right?
Yeah. She
hopped on the bus and she rode home to Riverside, where her family met her with open arms.
Why would she call him and tell him that, though?
You're not going to believe the next couple steps. The only thing I can explain or reason is probably because she was held captive for so long that she felt some tie to him, like some sort of loyalty.
Yeah.
Because she called and told him, and he broke down, right? She gets back home to Riverside, and her whole family is like, what the fuck happened? And she told them, probably not everything, but told them I was being held captive. And they were like, you need to call the authorities.
Yeah.
And she was like, I don't want to. Like, I just want to be done with it. She did not want to call the authorities. She didn't want to get anybody involved. She was like, it's what's done is done. I want to move forward with my life.
Oh, my God.
Right.
Well, that's why she called him then, because she wanted to close it.
Yeah.
Where if you were going to tell the authorities and stuff,
that
you're like,
would
he'll find out.
Yeah. Oh, he's going to know. Yeah. So that's what Colleen does, right? She goes off. Her family's like, we need to go after this guy. Mm-hmm. Now, Janice, she left Cameron for 1 week with the kids and like was living with her family. And then she eventually moves back in after a week with Cameron.
Terrible idea.
I know, right? She can fix him though. She started having major anxiety attacks, obviously, while being with him. She would make Cameron go to church and counseling told him, you have to get rid of all your bondage paraphernalia. Yeah. Like, we're changing. If I'm coming back, we're changing.
Demons and stuff.
Exactly.
Leave those at the church. Leave them at the chapel.
Right. Right. They tried that for a little bit, and then eventually it just wasn't working out, and Janice leaves Cameron and goes and lives at her parents' house.
She just made him get rid of all his stuff.
Yeah. Well, I think I touch on it later, but it turns out he didn't get rid of all his stuff. He said he did, but it was still there.
But he was a fucking liar.
Yeah, so I think that's when she was like, I'm fucking done.
Okay.
So, you're not going to fucking believe this, but this whole time now, like for a couple months, while Colleen is in Riverside and they're all separated, Colleen stays in touch with Cameron and Janice regularly, like calls them regularly. I don't know. That's
just
what I'm talking about.
Say goodnight.
Yeah, like I'm used to saying goodnight to you. So the whole time that she's calling them, they're begging her not to go to the police.
I bet.
They're saying, don't do it. Like,
it was all...
Cameron is just really sick. He has demons in his life. We're going to church. We're trying to get him right. Like, give him a couple months to get himself right before you turn us in.
Bitch, you gave me 7 years of torture.
Yeah.
Of torture.
But she didn't. She didn't turn them in. She was like, I love them in a way or whatever. I don't know if she said I love them, but like I have some sort of loyalty to them. And I'm not going to report. I know.
That's so fucked
But I
up.
also think it's kind of an out, too, because if I were in that position and I didn't want to do anything about it and I had that, I'd be like, I'm going to use that as my excuses to not do it because I don't want to do it because it's a hard thing to do.
I get it. Also, you're going to have to go into a place and tell a bunch of other men what happened to you and hope they believe you and question you and why you didn't run and all these things. Like,
exactly.
I get not wanting to go through it all again verbally with them. Like, that sounds
But you
horrible.
got to. Yeah.
But I am a very vindictive bitch. So
yeah. So we getting after it.
yeah, I would tell everyone. I would
for sure.
Immediately be on the phone with the police.
Yeah. And Colleen went a different route. She was like staying in contact with them, trying to lay low, whatever.
That's crazy.
So her family was pressuring her to press charges and stuff, and she still refused. Then on November 7th, Janice had discovered that Cameron didn't destroy all the bondage stuff, like I said. Like, she found it, and so she went to her pastor to be like, what do I do? And her pastor was like, I'm pulling the plug on this. I'm calling the cops.
Finally, bro.
Yeah. So that's exactly what happened.
He should have called from the first fucking time she said something.
He should have. So the police come, and Janice informs the police that Cameron had previously kidnapped and tortured and murdered a 19-year-old woman by the name of Marie Elizabeth Spanhake.
What?
Who had disappeared from Chico, California in January of 1976. So the same year that he took, or was it 77 that he took Colleen. So there was a note, and I didn't put it in my research here, but there was a note that in the box under the bed, under the waterbed that Colleen was forced to live in, there was a picture of Marie in there, of his last victim. So I'm sure he was also saying, like, I killed her, I'd kill you too. So Janice knew about this the whole time. And finally the police come, and she's like, hey, not only is he crazy and like held this other lady captive, I know of somebody that he murdered.
What the fuck, bro?
Right.
So not only, okay, I'm not going to victim blame.
I know.
And
it's
shame
hard
and
in
all
this
that,
one.
because I get that she is probably also a victim. But holy shit.
But holy shit is right. So Janice claimed that Cameron had picked up Marie while they were driving home one day, and he hung her from the basement rafters where he tortured and raped her, and then he shot her in the stomach with a pellet gun, and then he strangled her, and that's how she died.
What the fuck?
She claims that the couple wrapped her in a blanket and buried her near Lassen Volcanic National Park, which I don't know where that is. Somewhere in Oregon, I'm assuming. Or maybe somewhere in California. Anyway, but the authorities couldn't find any of the remains. Once Janice said all this, they went looking for the remains and they couldn't find anything. So there's never been any charges brought forward on her case.
Oh my God.
Like he hasn't confessed to it. It's just what Janice says, right?
Yeah.
For Colleen's case, Cameron was charged with 1 count of kidnapping, false imprisonment, and multiple sex offenses. Now, she was captured for 7 years. And
how many multiple? 365 times 7?
And it's not like she had a diary of every instance. So she could only pick certain things that she could recall and have evidence around to be able to, like, charge him with, you know?
Oh my God.
Cameron testified on his own behalf at trial, and he admitted to kidnapping and keeping Colleen in the box, and that he did bondage and stuff to her, but that she had consented to everything.
See here, she signed this document?
Exactly. The jury didn't buy any of that bullshit, and they found Cameron guilty of kidnapping with the use of deadly weapon, forcible oral copulation, penetration with a foreign object. Oh, I didn't mention this, but like whenever he wasn't raping her, he was still doing things like with himself. He would like use the handle of a whip and shit and like use objects to rape her.
You know, I assumed that, but I didn't need to know.
Right. So forcible sodomy and 6 counts of rape. So I'm assuming those 6 counts of rape are the 6 occurrences that she could recall and have backup and evidence on. Because it was 1 to 2 times a week at a certain point, you know?
Oh my God.
There was a 7th count of rape that resulted in a hung jury, so that one got dismissed. So
I don't understand why they're making her go through this and fucking itemize this list of all the things. Like, if you give me a general breakdown of what you just gave me.
Right.
Without, like, you know, months and January 22nd, anything like that. Fucking kill him. Throw the entire book at him.
I know. You know what's crazy is when I was on a jury for, like, attempted murder or some things like that, they had, like, 4 counts of attempted murder, and they were all different stories about, like, how he choked her or how he pushed her down the stairs, or an instance where she could have died because she was having a medical event or whatever. And I think it was 3 counts. And we could only come to an agreement on 2. And I don't know why the 3rd one, they were just like, just don't believe it as much. There's not enough evidence. Like, none of their stories matched, whatever. But I was just thinking, the first 2 are enough. Yeah, we've got our problem solved here. Yeah, like it's not going to add more time if we find the 3rd offense.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
To your point of what you're saying.
Exactly. Like he did the thing. Yeah. We can all agree that he did it at least once. Yeah. And that's enough. Yeah. He kidnapped her. Fucking end of book. End of fucking story.
I know. kept her in a box.
Him under the
box.
jail. A head box.
He made.
Put him under the jail.
That he made.
That's insane.
Oh my God. Okay, so that one count, that 7th count got dismissed. Cameron was sentenced to an indeterminate term of 1 to 25 years for the kidnapping, with a consecutive term of 5 to 10 years for the weapon use. And that is to be followed by a 69-year determinate term in state prison for the remaining offenses. So this dude's never going to get out. And also it did say, I didn't write it down, but I think I want to say Colleen's changed her name or some shit. And I think Janice took back her surname and they all went and lived their life. I think Colleen's had a rough life, but I forgot to write all that down. So I don't really quite remember, but I can't imagine anything being normal after that.
Right.
Yeah. But this box, okay, wait, let me show you because we know Critty's going to post it. It freaks me out. Also, there's been movies and shit made about this.
I've heard of her being kept under the bed in a box, like the lady in the box under the bed or something.
Yeah. Colleen Stan. Look at this head box, though.
But I didn't know anything about the head box or how it all started.
It's kind of grainy, but...
Oh, what in the fuck?
What in the fuck is right? It's got insulation on the inside or something. And it's I don't know, how do you describe that? You guys Google Colleen Stan head box. And then how do you hang with that thing on your head? That's a big box, right?
That's a huge box.
That's
I like
for a
how
big
it's
head.
also duct taped together. Sir, you're a fucking carpenter. I thought you were Jesus himself.
Oh my God.
With all your sex slaves.
So awful.
With it open, looks really fucking weird. I hate it.
Doesn't it? I won't want my head in there.
No.
It's not. It doesn't look comfy or soft or it's not going to hurt your neck.
Girl in the box.
I know. That's what I was saying. I was like, oh, there's here's the box part where I was like, the box looks stained. So.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm sure there were things going on. And that's Colleen. Just this little
she's
person.
So sweet.
I know.
She looks like every 70s girl. Middle part, long hair.
Fucking crazy, guys. And this is Cameron, just a little dweeb. Just like your standard murderer with your murderer glasses.
Yeah, murderer sideburns. What a fucking asshole.
Sorry you guys didn't get to see any of that, but you will when Critty posts the pictures on our social media.
Yeah.
If you guys want to check out pictures pertaining to my case, you should go to our social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok. Our handle is at ISGD Podcast. You can email us at isgdpodcast@gmail.com or you can snail mail us at
P.O. Box 2764, Spring Valley, California, 91979.
Toodles.
Noodles. Bye.